Art, I'm so thrilled that I get to talk to you about this, about your story, really. Tell me about the street that you grew up on.
I mean, I bounced around a lot. We moved kind
Mm,
of, trailer parks, apartments, neighborhoods, kind of all
mm,
around the Flint area. But when I think about like the street that I identify with most, it's
mm,
OLeary Road. My
mm,
grandparents still live there today. Despite any challenges, the things that we were going through, particularly at the time in Flint, where we're facing kind of waves of layoffs and then plant closures and a lot of family that was really struggling. One of the things that I think my family was really, really good at was protecting joy. And when I think
mm,
about O'Leary Road, I think about kind of the joyful moments and times of a bunch of cousins running around
mm.
with a big cookout in the backyard. That no matter what was happening in our lives, whatever challenges were there, we knew that we had each other, and we could make a joke out of anything, and that nothing was going to take our ability to find joy.
When did you know that you wanted to be an organizer, that you were meant to be an organizer?
I think for me in some parts of it is a little bit in my blood. Like my family were all UAW members. Everybody all worked in
Mm,
the auto factories, but were constantly fighting, stepping up in leadership in their union, and I was incredibly proud of that. I as a kid was always there hanging out with
mm,
a bunch of like old ladies who had this swagger about them, and some of them had been a part of the Women's Emergency Brigade, which in the 1930s was saw themselves as the militant vanguard of the Flint sit-down strike, which is one of the most important labor history moments in our country's history. And so I, as a kid, got to kind of rub shoulders with and talk to all of these old ladies who had this swagger to them and would say things like, we brought the most powerful corporation in the world to its knees to demand dignity in the workplace. And the only reason you got a roof over your head and food on the table, kid, is because of the fights that we had. And I grew up knowing I was part of that lineage.
Is there anything, when you think about O'Leary, is there anything from that place that you want to bring more into your life now?
I think for me, what was really, really important was actually understanding in much deeper ways with more clarity than I ever could as a kid what my family went through and why they
Mm,
fought as hard as they did,
mm,
for dignity for our family and for other working
mm,
people. What I'm doing in this moment is just a part of the lineage of what my family is doing, right? It's not special, it's not unique. I'm continuing the work that my family has been doing for a long time, only I have a lot more privilege and a lot more access than any of them did. For me, like what it looks like to bring, O'Leary Road back into this is just making sure that like my grandparents, my family, my ancestors are like with me as I do this
mm,
work. I think is the
mm.
most important thing for me to be realizing and reflecting on.